guess AJ's sick. Chief Limble's sick as a dog. He's throwing up blood with COVID. Crystal's out with the flu.
And Tom's got COVID?
John, he's got COVID. Hello, Miss Johnson. How are you doing?
Tom.
How are you doing? Well, there's your hand right there. Now, the barbecue stuff is from Raymond James.
Okay.
The Tex Mix is from the Youngs, and the cookies are from the Duprees. Good evening, sir. You hiding out down there? I better cut this thing off. The guy from the city, Wes, came by to pick up the money, and he said that group's gonna work Christmas Eve. Already wanting to get out of it, and we just stood there. We didn't say nothing. But see, it's over $1,000 a night for the camp.
Yeah, what do y'all get half of it?
No, what they do, Mr. Billy, you know, they only open whatever days. They just put all the money in one big pile, divided by the number of days. Everybody gets the same.
That's fair. Yeah, because you're right, some of the weekends will be busier than the nights.
One night we had to do it 2 or 3 days after Christmas. Because nobody comes through 2 or 3 days after. You sit there and freeze. They actually have gift certificates for that now.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Never remember.
Mr. Billy, do you have the time, sir? Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this meeting of the Horn Lake Board of Aldermen. As always, good government depends on the citizens being involved here in person or else watching on the TV or the computer. I'd like to call this meeting to order at this time. I'd like to ask Alderman Johnson if she will please lead us in our invocation.
Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we come tonight to say thank you. Lord, we thank you for all the many blessings that you've bestowed upon us. Lord, thank you for allowing us to see another day. God, you are good. You are awesome. Despite of what it looks like, God, despite of what it feels like, God, you're an awesome God, and for that we are grateful. Lord, I ask that you bless those who are sick. Lord, bless those who are experiencing death in the family. Lord God, just bless those who are falling upon hard times. God, I ask that let us all be grateful during this season, God. Sometimes it's hard for others, but give us strength to make it through and to help one another. On tonight, please help us make wise decisions for our community. These things I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Alderman. Would you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance led by Alderman Young?
And salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
All right, before we begin, just a couple of brief announcements. Horn Lake basketball team, the young gentlemen are ranked #1 in the state of Mississippi. Yeah. And the district teacher of the year for DeSoto County is Ms. Golden from Career Tech West here in Horn Lake. Congratulations to Ms. Golden. And of course, I hope everyone's getting in a Christmas spirit. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, a healthy and a safe one. All right. Number one on the agenda is the vote on the roll call, please.
Yes, Alderman Klein,
Here.
Alderman Geis,
Here.
Alderman Bostic,
Here.
Alderman Johnson,
Here.
Alderman Dupree,
Here.
Alderman Young.
All right, we have a quorum. Number one on the agenda is the vote on the municipal docket. Do we have a motion? Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the municipal docket.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second? Second by Alderman Young. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Jim.
Alderman Young. Aye. Alderman Dupree,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Geis,
Aye.
Alderman Klein.
Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 absent. Oh, Alderman Bostic, let me congratulate you on your son's achievements.
Thank you.
I know you're quite proud of him, deservedly so.
He worked very hard for that, and I'm very proud of him.
Sure he did, sir. Number 2 on the agenda is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Johnson.
I'd like to motion that we accept the consent agenda, items A through Y.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Johnson. We have a second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein,
Aye.
Alderman Geis,
Aye.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Dupree,
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 absent. Next on the agenda is the claims docket. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the claims docket. General Fund, $391,891.24. The Library Fund, $3,559.70. The Economic Development Fund, $11,124.60. And the Utility Fund for $225,544.05, for a total docket of $632,119.59.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
A second.
A second by Alderman Johnson. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, sir.
Alderman Young. Aye. Alderman Dupree,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Bostic, Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Geis,
Aye.
Alderman Klein.
Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 absent. Next, we're honored to have with us tonight, number 4 on your agenda, our special guest, Mr. Stacy Dodd. Mr. Stacy, always a pleasure, sir.
Well, Merry Christmas, y'all. It's always a pleasure to be here with you all, too. Good to see you all again. Looks like y'all are doing well, and just happy to be here with you. Again,
I don't have those on there, but they have them in their packet.
Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to give you an update on some things that have happened recently with the Hope Center. For those of you who don't know, I was walking around Horn Lake in 2014 with a piece of paper in my hand, and I had about $60, and I said I wanted to start a community center. And I walked into Horn Lake Intermediate School, and they pointed me back to Mr. McKinney's office, and they said, you need to go talk to Mr. McKinney. And I said, okay. I didn't know who Mr. McKinney was. He was assistant principal. And I went in his office and told him what I was doing, and a tear came down his face, and he said, I've been waiting on you. And that's when the Hope Center dream was born. And so fast forward 5 years, we went through a lot of hardships. We had COVID. We had a lot of different things going on. And but last week, we actually advanced with the Memphis Grizzlies to silver level affiliate partnership, which is a big thing for us. We went through 270 hours of training on how to be a mentor, how to screen, how to match, how to monitor, how to close, all these different things that we didn't know. So our team is really ready now. We do have dates submitted to operate in Horn Lake this year in 2023. And we will, I would say probably by the end of 2023, we will be getting some funding from the Memphis Grizzlies. Once we go to gold, silver we'll be getting funding, but when we go to gold, we get that, what I call Ja Morant money, some of that big money. And we've been working really hard. We've been an affiliate with the Grizzlies for over 5 years. And so they came out to Horn Lake Intermediate. I've got a picture of all of us out there. We probably had about 120 people out there. And the Memphis Grizzlies came out and did a site visit. So they came out and made sure we were signing in like we're supposed to, made sure we were doing what we're supposed to do, and that's when they advanced us to the next level. They hold us highly accountable. And actually what we have now, even without a building and without, salaries and all that, we have the premier mentoring program in the state of Mississippi because of the Memphis Grizzlies leadership and because of what we've been able to do. So now we have a big team. I'm looking for support for this year. I think by the end of this year, I'll be supportive. By other, we've put in for the Community Foundation. We're going to be getting stuff from the Grizzlies. The city of South Haven did give us a generous donation a couple of weeks ago. And so I'm just looking for a hand up, and I always invite you all to come out and see what we're doing, be a part of it. If anybody needs a mentor, or any kids need to be mentored, or any moms, need help or anything like that, all you have to do is give them my phone number or have them reach out to me. So what I'm asking for is a donation. The city of South Haven did give us $20,000 a couple of weeks ago, and so we're going to be operating there too. And so anything will help. Right now, I did fund it myself for a long time. For about 5 years, it came out of my personal pocket. And we didn't stop. I wasn't going to let it fail. I felt God called us to it because I got the call that day years ago. And so I'm really happy. I mean, I'm excited about where we're at. I'm excited to be able to show you what we have. I would love to show you, send you all, if I could get it to somebody, with the attachments and what we're doing so you can review it at your own leisure or whatever. But I would like for you to approve this donation this one time and let you know, we're highly accountable. We're doing what we say we're going to do, and we want to help the city. I was at the ER the other night when Christian Salisbury mom got the news. I was actually doing an intervention on a young lady that was struggling with alcohol, getting her into our program, and I was there when his mom got the news. And so we do have a problem, and we need help. We need all the help we can get. And so if we work together, as mentioned in the very beginning, if we work together, we can do a lot. And my team's ready to serve your community, and I give you my word on that. So.
Well, you always have, and thank you, sir. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Mr. Stacy?
Yes, Mayor.
Alderman Young.
Y'all do an amazing amount of work. You really do. It is something that is needed. More so than what we actually think about. It does need to be addressed. What is your budget this year?
So the budget this year running, if we run like we're supposed to, would probably be around 44,000, something like that.
Okay.
And that's just covering the events. That's covering the events that we do, the one-to-one mentoring sessions. We do those every month. And then we do have a little bit of money for the upkeep of the website and marketing and things like that. But there's no salaries and there's no like utilities or overhead. We have none of that. But we do have operating costs, and we save a lot of money doing it that way. We actually save a lot of money by using the schools. The DeSoto County schools, we just purchased a $3 million policy for them, to where we have to submit that policy in. That was around $2,000 right there.
All right, so you went to South Haven, and now you're here. Where else are you going from there?
We're hoping to go into Horn Lake and Hernando. I want to be DeSoto County wide. I mean, but we have to develop the teams. Right now, we have a team to do what we're doing. We have a full team. We have a lot of new mentors that are coming on, and actually the Memphis Grizzlies now that we're where we're at, they send people to us. So when someone goes through their mentor training online through the Memphis Grizzlies, and they live out here or they want to serve out here, they automatically send us the mentor applications.
So they're the rest of your budget?
Who's that?
Grizzlies.
They haven't given us anything yet. The Grizzlies haven't actually given us anything, but I submitted the slide to him showing him where we advanced and where we got the certificate. So what that means is bronze affiliate is no money. And it's just basically you can just use their logo. When you go to silver affiliate, that's when they start giving you some funding. But they don't give it to you the day they give you the certificate. All right, we don't know. On one of the networking meetings, they'll present us with a check. As we continue to go, they will continue to give us money, and the longer we stay with them, the more money they're going to give us. So silver right now, I would say probably silver grantee by June, and then gold, I would say by 2024. When that happens, we won't need money from anybody. But it's been a long road. It's been a long road. It's been a hard road. And we're trying to get to where we're not using personal money. We're trying to get to where we're using, donations and things like that. And so we do have a grant request put into the Community Foundation. We haven't heard back. They had a delay in the processing. I'm not sure what happened. And then we are expecting something from the Grizzlies this year. And then we got that from South Haven. South Havens was supposed to be split up by the month. It'd be like $1,600 a month. That wouldn't cover us monthly completely, but for some reason, they decided to give it to us all at one time. I don't know what that was, but
You're fairly confident that next year you won't need any money?
I'm very confident. Yeah. Because of where we're at with the Grizzlies and because of what's been happening. And also because I'm a lot more confident with what we're doing now than I've ever been. And so now I'm ready to go. I mean, I'm ready to go ask for money now. But before, honestly, I just didn't have it. I mean, I didn't have the program together. I didn't have what I have together now. And God has just blessed us. But he did that through the Memphis Grizzlies Mentor Foundation. And for those of you that don't know, the National Mentor Foundation is all over the United States of America. So it's in New York, Detroit, Chicago, and all of the bigger cities. And they hold you highly accountable to doing it right, to doing it safe, doing it by the book. And they also do recertifications. So every year I do 2 to 3 recertifications with the Grizzlies. I have to submit forms. It's kind of like applying for the FBI. I mean, but they hold us highly accountable. They come out and do site visits. We do trainings. They question us. They interview us. They actually did a live interview of me down at the forum the other day for the TV thing they're going to do about what does the Memphis Grizzlies Foundation mean to the Hope Center. So we are there almost. And it's been a long, hard road, and I know y'all have seen me a lot of times, and it's been a lot of years, but we're better than we've ever been right now, and I've got, the facts to prove that if I need to, so. I'm proud of it now, but it's been a long road.
Well, I know you're proud of it, but I know you're also grateful for it too, the success you've had in that program. And I know we certainly are, because you help a lot of young people get them on the right track.
Yes, sir.
It's a lot cheaper to pay for them now than pay for them in jail.
It is, and the one-to-one mentoring has a long-term effects, more long-term effects on the person. Before we were doing an open gym. So I was like, how many kids can I get in the gym? You know what I mean? It's like 300 kids. All right, that's a big win. Well, that is a big win because they had a safe place to go. So we still do the community events, not quite 300. But the impact comes with the one-on-one mentoring. When you're investing in that child one-on-one and telling them that they matter and that they can come to you if they have problems. And it's a much more personal thing, and that's where the Grizzlies took us to the next level. They would rather us have 25 kids in that gym doing one-on-one mentoring than to have 200 in there playing basketball. Because they want us to make a lasting impact. And so we are talking about in the future, doing a college scholarship fund for some of our mentors. We do have a young lady that's, she's a mentee, but she's also on our board of directors now, and she's moving up, and she's already got a position on our team. And we're doing a lot of really interesting things to help them grow and be a part of the community. And there's nothing we can't do in this community, by the way. We are not funded by any church. So we do not have a church giving us money every week. We do not have a church giving us thousands and thousands of dollars. So we can actually do anything. We're not a religious 501. So what that means is if you say, hey, Stacy, we think y'all need to go down to this neighborhood and do something, all you have to do is let me know. If someone needs to be served, we've been providing Christmas for a family. A lady had cancer, and Verena Hopper years ago led them to the Hope Center when we first started. And they needed Christmas, and we've been buying that family Christmas for the past 6 years, and many times when we didn't have it. And the young lady has cancer, and she has 3 kids, and so we bought her Christmas again a couple of days ago. So, we're going to keep doing whatever we're doing regardless, and we're not going to quit. If I was going to quit, I'd have quit a long time ago. I'm not going to quit, but I love seeing what's going on in the city, but I also know that we need help. I mean, there's a lot going on out there, and y'all know it better than I do, or just as good as I do, so anyway.
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
you are a 501c3?
Yes, sir. We're current with the city. I mean, we're current with the Mississippi State. I do all that. I got good at that over the past 6 years. So.
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
I'd like to make a motion to support this event with $10,000.
We have a motion by Alderman Young,
Second.
and we have a second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any discussion?
Mayor,
Alderman Johnson.
I had some questions and comments for Mr. Dodd.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for what you do. I do see the results firsthand each day, so I do appreciate that. Do you all work with any other entities alongside with anybody other than the Grizzlies?
No. Now, Bank Three gives us $1,000 a year. That's one person that does give us once a year. Kyle McCoy, whatever bank he's at, gives me $1,000. He's moved a few times. No, not necessarily. Not that I can think of right off the top of my hand now.
Okay.
The BNI chapter that I'm in, they try to help us out a little bit.
Yeah.
He gave us $200 one time, but no, not any other entities besides the DeSoto County Schools.
Okay,
I actually just nominated the DeSoto County Schools and Brown Baptist for letting us use their facilities over the years.
yes, sir.
For awards. And I would say Brown Baptist is one that does let us use their gym sometimes.
Okay,
Supports them, and then they invite their kids out, and we mentor their kids as well. But they've been good to us over the years. Brown Baptist supported us our first 3 years. They gave us $6,000 a year, which it was enough to keep us going during that time. And we had done 30 Saturdays in a row every Saturday, big events every Saturday for 30 weeks whenever COVID hit. And COVID, they wouldn't let us go back in the schools anymore. But we had a lot of kids coming every week over there at South Haven.
yeah.
We had the keys to the school, and it was a really great, DeSoto County Schools has been great to us. And Brown Baptist has been great to us, and you all have been great to us. I mean, all of the leadership in the county has been great, but we're going to the next level now, and I just need your support. I need a little bit of help, and that's what I'm asking.
In addition to finances, are there any other groups that help mentor or, work alongside your organization?
So, I was at a meeting with all the superintendents of the Shelby County School Board the other day over on Union. That was pulled together by Pastor Orr. They're trying to figure out what to do to help Memphis because it's in. And when I go to Grizzlies networking events and those kind of events, I meet all kinds of people. I mean, I meet people. I was at a round table a couple of weeks ago with men from the gang units over in Memphis that are trying to help. So I'm involved with a lot of those organizations. I pretty much know them all. I just need to, ask them to come on over. I mean, they're ready to come. They're ready to do whatever we need to do. So I have a lot of organizations that I know, but right now the Grizzlies is the main one that's guiding us and, leading us.
Okay, thank you.
Does anyone else have any more questions or comments? Alderman Klein.
So exactly, what do you spend the money on?
So whenever we have an event, we have, like, the last two events we have Total Fitness Kickboxing come out. And so a team from Total Fitness Kickboxing comes out, and we pay them to have their team come out with the punching bags and all those kind of things. Sometimes we do art. Sometimes we do yoga. We also have Chick-fil-A come out and bring sandwiches. We have a ice truck come out at the end of the day. We have security now. I do have an armed security guard that comes out now that I just started this year when we started back because of the dangers of what could happen. So that money goes to that. We do have the insurance policy every year. We have a DJ that comes out every now and then. But it's basically just those events. So we also do mentor and mentee events. So those are events that are not the community event. The community event is designed to meet new families. If I meet someone at the store and say, hey, if you know anybody that needs any help, let me know. And I invite them to that community event so they can come and meet our team and see what we're doing. And hopefully we get them signed up to be a mentor that day, a mentee and mentor that day. When we do the off-campus activities, we do things like go bowling, we go over here to the skating rink, we take them to the movies, and that's when we have the one-to-one time. That's when we say, hey, how's it going? How's school going? Is there anything that you need? How's the family life going? And that's where we make the one-on-one connections. And so it's all basically activities or just basic expenses like food and things like that.
Thank you, sir.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments? All right, we have a motion by Alderman Young. We have a second by Alderman Dupree. There's no more comments. Roll call, please, Mr. Jim.
Alderman Klein. Alderman Geis. Aye. Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree. Aye. Alderman Young.
Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 absent. Again, thank you for the wonderful work you do, Mr. Dodd.
Thanks, guys.
Merry
Please
Christmas
join
to
us
you and your
sometime,
family.
Thank you for listening to me.
Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Merry Christmas to y'all. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, moving on down, number 5 is the Planning Department. Mr. Barr, I will turn it over to you, sir. Good evening, sir.
Case number 2096, It's a subdivision final plat. It's a request for subdivision to be named DeSoto Commons A9 Commercial Subdivision, located at 61, approximately 6180 Interstate Boulevard. The address is unassigned and unofficial at this point, consisting of one. The particular case was heard by the Planning Commission back on November the 28th. They did make a recommendation on that, but I will give some details on that at this point.
Excuse me, Mr. Barr, can I interrupt you a moment?
Oh, yes.
Mr. Daniel, we're having an echo problem. Sir? All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Barr, I apologize. It's all yours again, sir.
That's quite all right. Yeah, so in this case, it's a one-lot subdivision, and no public facilities are proposed, so that means it's a minor subdivision by definition. So therefore, we went right to basically the final plat, and that's what's before you tonight. If you could scroll on a little bit there, Jim. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't know you were not. Yeah, there we go. So here on this particular slide, we see the area that they're proposing to divide out and create a new parcel, thus a subdivision, highlighted with the blue outline. Consists of 1.7 acres. One lot is proposed, as I stated earlier. Basically, all of the property is in the designated 100-year floodplain. A small portion is in the floodway, the very corners of the property, the subject property. No new road, public road is proposed. And then both water and sewer service would be from the Horn Lake Water Association. The current zoning is PUD, which is Planned Unit Development. So here we see a few slides that kind of show what they're wanting to break out and divide out. In our review, there was a few things that were still lacking. And so we've just tried to point those out to the applicant during the review of the case. That first one there had to do with easements. So there'll be a condition later on about easements. If you go to the next slide there. This one here is about general suitability. This is a standard that's found in the subdivision regulations. And basically, I call this kind of a planning double check, if you will, just to make sure that from a land use standpoint, what is proposed seems to fit for a land use plan and pattern. And so we see to the west of the subject property and to the north and to the south is the same type of zoning, PUD. It's identical PUD zoning. And then to the east is PBP. We don't see a whole lot of that in the town, but there is some. In this particular case, it's the planned business park. As far as land uses in the area, to the west is the access road and an area of volunteer grass and trees. Farther to the west is a commercial office facility. To the north is more volunteer grass and trees. To the northeast is a warehouse. To the east is existing commercial uses and a technical college. And then to the south is more volunteer trees and grass located in the floodway. If we go to the next slide. So these other slides just kind of point out some other things that were lacking upon review. As far as this one here talks about setbacks. And that'll be one of the conditions you find for approval tonight. And then some discussion on drainage notes on the plat and then sidewalks. There is an existing sidewalk now, kind of on the west side of the property along Interstate Boulevard. We do have one comment from the county, so we've made these known to the applicant. These are basically, if it gets to the point of recording the plat, things that they'll have to be aware of in the county's review before they would record a plat. So I just kind of put that in the presentation to make that aware to the applicant and the developer. So in the end, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of the request back on November the 28th. And they did do that with, looks like, 5 conditions attached, and I'll read those Here we go. Letter A is revise utility easements to meet the subdivision regulation standards. B, change utility notes that the water and sewer providers will be the Horn Lake Water Association and not the city of Horn Lake. C, the PUD setback should read front or street frontage at 50 feet of depth, and then side and rear yards at 10 feet of depth. Please update in all the spots on the plat. Item D, label the existing sidewalk along Interstate Boulevard upon the plat as existing, and then label the sidewalk along the private access road as to be built to city code. And then the last one is item E, to note number 2, which is on the plat, about meeting city standards about drainage and erosion control, add the term sediment control as well. And that would be on sheet 1. There's 2 sheets in this particular plat. And that would conclude the presentation, unless you've had any questions.
Thank you very much, sir. This is right across from where you turn to go down to Tractor Supply there.
No, this is a good question. And this would be a little bit farther from your reference. It would be farther to the south and to the east. So if you're on Goodman Road, and let's say you turn and go south on Interstate Boulevard, you kind of go down the hill, and then along, if you're going south, basically towards Nail Road, it'd be on the east side or the left-hand side of the automobile or truck, whatever. There's the entrance into the college there, the technical college, and this would be basically right on that southeast corner of Interstate Boulevard and the private drive to the technical school.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Barr? Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion? Alderman Dupree.
I make the motion, do we pass the case number 2096 for approximately 8180 Interstate Boulevard, consisting of 1.7 acres.
Does that include the staff recommendations too?
Yes, sir.
We have a motion by Alderman Dupree. Do we have a second to the motion?
Second.
Second by Alderman Young. Do we have any discussion?
Mayor,
Alderman Guy?
I just want to make sure Alderman Bostic heard that since it's his ward.
Alderman Bostic, did you hear the presentation, sir?
Yes, sir, I heard the presentation. I'm getting a lot of echo and I, not sure who made the motion or seconded it, but I'm good with it.
We had a motion to approve, and we had a second. And now we're asking for any discussion. Did you have any discussion, Alderman?
Mayor, I'm having a hard time hearing anybody.
All right. In that case, roll call, please, Mr. Jim.
Alderman Young,
Aye.
Alderman Dupree,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Geis,
Aye.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you, and thank you, Alderman Geis. I didn't hear that a while ago. All right, Mr. Barr, it's back to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This next case is rezoning case 2104. It was a case that was considered by the Planning Commission back in October, and they recommended on it. And then the board took it up in the middle of November the 15th. There was no motion to either approve it or deny it. So according to legal counsel, it's still at play, if you will. And the applicant has desired to bring it back for some type of decision tonight, hopefully. And so what it is it's a request for rezoning. The current zoning of the property is M1, which is the light industrial district. And the request is for C-4, which is the planned commercial district in the city. And it's currently at the northeast corner of the intersection of Hurt Road and Nail Road West. It would be approximately about 6020 Hurt Road. The owner is Amin Megani, and Womble Engineering is a representative of the owner, and the property consists of 1.42 acres. So on this particular slide is, as stated, it comes basically right from the city's zoning ordinance, Article 10, specifically applications dealing with rezoning. And so when considering a rezoning, both by the Planning Commission and the aldermen, there's certain factors to consider and debate. And so they're enumerated on that particular slide. Thank you. This slide here highlights the property. It's shown in with the blue box. You can see it there at the location of that intersection of Hurt Road and Nail Road. The zoning and uses of the area are the following. To the north is PUD, which is that planned unit development, and also some C1. The land uses there to the north is developing light industrial storage facility and a grass field. To the east is PUD zoning. It's also the same project that would be developing as a light industrial storage facility. To the south across Nail Road is M1, which is light industrial zoning. There's a food manufacturing plant or facility. And then to the west across Hurt Road is R-8 zoning, which is a residential classification. And then is a public middle school for land use. So I just included, there's just 2 or 3 slides here. They're just field photos that kind of shows the subject property on the corner there. Trying to highlight the interaction there with Nail Road and Hurt Road. On this particular slide is, it denotes the differences through the zoning ordinance of a planned commercial district as compared to a light industrial district as far as their purposes as expressed in the zoning ordinance. And then what I tried to do is basically list all the land uses that are permitted by right. Now, these aren't the land uses that are also permitted through a conditional use, which would be on top if the zoning was granted one way or the other. So I listed the C4 zoning district, all the land uses that are permitted by right as through the request. And in the end, there's a total of 53 different land uses that are permitted by right in the C4 zoning district. I'll just kind of let you look at those different uses. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to kind of look through in the packet of information of what that brings as far as opportunity. What I had done on those slides is break it down. The zoning ordinance breaks down permitted land uses, or all the land uses basically, by different categories. So you have the commercial category, then you have the industrial category, then you have agricultural category, and then you have like residential type category, and it breaks it in down and then has the table. So then now we get into the items from the zoning ordinance about the different requirements as far as analyzing a particular rezoning request. There's four items listed, and then those are kind of subdivided, if you will, into some further items. What I try to do with each of the rezoning requests and conditional use requests is try to take items from the comprehensive plan when it gets to that particular item that either someone might find that supports a request, or maybe it doesn't support it so much. And that would be from the current plan. I won't go into those with detail or whatever. Obviously, we can go back to them if somebody has questions. As far as the nearness to community facilities, Horn Lake Fire Station number 2 is near to the subject parcel. That's a positive feature. The fire station is about 1.4 miles via routes US Highway 51 and Nail Road West. Transportation, both the roads, both Hurt Road and Nail Road are paved roads. Hurt Road is a 2-lane road, and the corner turns into a 3-lane road with a turn lane to the east and 1 lane to the west. Nail Road consists of 4 lanes, 2 lanes eastbound, 2 lanes westbound, and a center division strip. There are sidewalks along both sides of Nail Road that serve the area, Horn Lake Middle School, but these discontinue about 300 feet east of the intersection of Nail Road and Hurt Road. So in the end, the Planning Commission had recommended approval of the request. And there was some debate last time when it was considered as far as what would be appropriate. So I guess I'll just leave it at that unless there would be any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr.? Does anyone
Yes, sir,
have
Mayor.
any questions?
Yes, sir, Mayor.
Alderman Bostic, go ahead, sir.
I just want to make sure y'all could hear me.
Yeah, I think we can. Everybody hear Alderman Bostic? Did you wish to say something, Alderman?
Yes, sir. I was fixing to
Yes, sir.
speak. First off, I want to thank Chad for presenting this case, and we had some concern about this when we met the last time about what was going to be built in that location. And I did a little research last week, and one of the biggest concerns we have working with our comprehensive plan committee and trying to figure out some things, and I believe the city has met its goal on convenience stores and gas stations. Within a mile east of that location, you have 2 convenience stores and 2 gas stations. Within a quarter mile going west, you have 2 gas stations with convenience store. Going a little less than a mile north of there, you have another convenience store and 2 more gas stations. And I think we need to consider whether we approve this to be rezoned or not. We need to figure out with legal counsel on, what is the distance that we need and how many gas stations do we need in the city of Horn Lake and convenience stores. And along with that, are we going to build another per se strip mall with bays open that are not being leased? And we have tons of those all over the city right now that are empty. So I'm just, and along with the safety issues of that intersection with the middle school being there, there's just a lot of questions concerning this location that I would like to get answers to before we do anything, if possible. And I'd like to make a motion to table this until I can meet with Mr. Barr, and maybe we can have another discussion on this when I can be there.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. Is there a second to the motion? Second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any discussion?
Mayor.
Ladies first, Alderman Johnson.
Mr. Barr, is this the exact same thing that we heard last time? No additions, no changes? It's the exact same thing?
That's correct. The applicant has contacted the planning department a couple of times since the meeting was the case was last heard in November, and they've asked some various questions or whatever. I think they're willing to reduce down perhaps the number of land uses that are permitted by right if the C4 zoning was granted. I do believe they're in the gallery tonight. I don't know if you'd have any discussion with them, or if they'd have any questions, or would be able to add anything as far as what they're desiring to do there or not.
Anything else, Alderman? Was it
Mayor,
Alderman Geis?
I have a question for the planning director as well. The way it's currently zoned is a convenience store by right use of that land.
Yes, that is correct.
If I understand right, the issue was how close it or far away it had to be from the school.
Yes,
Changing it.
yeah, if it's desired with a convenience store, if it's developed as that, in Chapter 4 of the city code, which has to do with alcohol and wine sales or whatever, that when the zoning is changed to commercial, the distance or separation between various land uses and the source of the sales diminishes from 400 feet down to 100 feet. So that's actually in the city code. It shrinks down with commercial zoning. The actual wording is the actual location of the business, where the sales would take place, to the building housing, either a church, school, kindergarten, or funeral home. So it would shrink from a 400 feet distance minimum to a 100 feet distance minimum if it was rezoned to C4.
So if I'm understanding that right, if we don't change it, they could come back to the next meeting and planning commission meeting and submit plans to build a convenience store. It would just have to be further away.
Yes, that's correct. It is a permitted land use by right in the M1 zoning. We would have to see, I think I'd done some measuring back. It's been some time ago. The 400 feet distance, I don't think was going to be able to be met if they wanted to do the alcohol sales. Obviously, they could do the convenience store without the alcohol sales. The distance doesn't come into play. So,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We have a motion for this to be tabled. We have a second. Do we have any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
I can't hear you if you're talking to me. Hello?
They want to know if you're voting yea or nay on your motion, sir.
Yeah, I couldn't hear nothing. Yeah, yay.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 absent. All right, this is tabled. It'll come back up. All right, moving on down. Letter C. Case number 2116 is a request by Mr. Barr to rename the planning department.
Mayor, that was removed off the agenda.
Oh, it is? All right, sir. Well, I have an old agenda, and I'm an old person, so we'll scratch it. All right. All right, we can get that one done. All right. New business. I don't have anything for new business. Citizens remark, Mr. Dan Arata. Good evening, Mr. Arata. How are you, sir? Good. Good. It's all yours, Mr. Dan.
About that gas station.
The one they just discussed? Okay. Go ahead, sir. You've got 2 minutes.
Is a dangerous area, and there's no red lights there.
Is there anything else, sir? Is that what you're wishing to point out to the board?
Point out to the board.
All right, so does anyone have any questions for Mr. Arata? Well, we thank you, Mr. Dan, for your involvement, not only in this, but everything in the community. The board voted to table it, so it'll come up again in the future, so your comments will be in the back of everybody's mind. I appreciate you stepping forward, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, Mayor, Alderman correspondence. Again, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. It's a wonderful time of the year. Also to remind everybody, it's gonna be really, really cold. I'm sure you're all aware of that. Just make sure you're okay, your pets are okay, your plants are okay, and as they say, your pipes are okay. One station calls it the 4 Ps. And I want to thank every department, everybody employed by the city and the board for everything they've done this past year to make this a good year for the city of Horn Lake. Many people have worked extra hard to serve our citizens, and our citizens have responded by having a safe community and a successful business community. We would love for that to continue and plan for that to continue into the future. So if I may, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Alderman Young, did you have anything, sir?
Just to echo those remarks, Mayor, it's been a fabulous year at Horn Lake in 2022. 2023 is looking more promising than ever for the growth of our city. Financially sound, morally sound, and ethically sound. And Merry Christmas to everybody, and appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a great holiday.
Alderman Dupree?
I just want to say, to be careful, everybody. It's going to be cold. Hopefully it don't snow much. I can't thank enough for the citizens that watch us every week on YouTube or what have you, and out here. It means a lot to us up here on the board to know that you guys are interested in our city, concerned. I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone and Happy Holidays. And we had a pretty good, we had fun the other night at Mr. Q's. Too bad you guys missed it. It was, giving those ornaments away was pretty fun. We ended up putting them on the tree there at Mr. Q's. We had fun. But thank you again.
Alderman Johnson?
Yes, sir. I just want to say thank you to everyone who helped to grant Christmas wishes. I asked and you guys came through. Thank you so much. It means a lot. And what a blessing it is to want things and not to need things. So many times we all want stuff, but we don't need them. But to help a family in need, what a blessing in there that is. So thank you so much for that. I also want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Alderman Bostic, did you have any comments, sir?
Yes, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and everybody be safe out there and just watch out for everybody around you in the cold weather and the slick streets or whatever's coming up. And just thank you for the opportunity that I have to serve this Ward 3 and also this city, and just continue to just keep us all in your prayers and the decisions that we make for the upcoming year. And I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Alderman Geist, did you have any comments, sir?
Just Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.
Alderman Klein?
Yes, sir. I want everybody to keep Alderman Bledsoe and Chief Linville in your prayers for a speedy recovery, so they may be here beginning of next year. Also wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's to all that are on this board and our department heads. It's been an honor to serve y'all this year, and I'm looking forward to 2023.
Thank you, sir. Before I forget, I say we have an economic development update from Mr. Cates in our packet for the board members to be sure and look through. Chief Brown, welcome. Do you have anything for the board, sir?
Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. Hope everybody has a safe holiday season.
Anyone have any questions, comments for Chief Brown? Mr. Box, do you have anything?
Just to wish everybody, just to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and also to remind you about the temperatures that are going to be dropping extremely low here Thursday. Reminding citizens that they need to let your water run. It's very important. If your water freezes up, bust, it's a lot more expensive to get a plumber to fix it than to just let that water run. So plan accordingly.
Thank you, sir. Anyone on the board have any questions or comments for Mr. Box?
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
I asked Mr. Box earlier, and he assured me that all of our snow plows were ready.
All right, sir. Chief White, did you have anything for the board, sir? Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Chief? Ms. Leslie, you're representing the Parks Department tonight. Thank you for being here. Did you have anything for the board, Ms. Leslie?
The Parks Department just wants to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year.
These beautiful trees that are up, that's Parks and Public Works. Thank you both very much. Anyone on the board have any questions or comments for Ms. Leslie? Mr. Malavasi, did you have anything for the board, sir?
Mr. Mayor, I know we've got quite a few projects going on now, and I won't rehash those. I think I went over most of those last week, but I will just draw your attention to a couple of, I guess, milestones and a couple of projects that are ongoing. That is the Twin Lakes Water project, where we are extending distribution line out to that area, along with replacing some of the smaller lines in that area, which will give them more pressure and a more consistent water pressure out there. So that's ongoing, and it will probably be advertised around the 1st of February. So that project is moving along nicely. The other one is the street project. I think I mentioned it too, and just want to let you know that that project is scheduled for the first contract to come out around the middle of February. We'll be advertising, so we'll have that in place for the spring season of paving. So that's ongoing. Other than that, that's all I had, other than wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Joy that comes to this time of season.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Well, thank you, sir. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Malavasi? Alderman Dupree.
Mr. Vince, that spaghetti sauce that you gave us was delicious.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Anyone else? Mr. Barr, did you have anything for the board, sir?
Yeah, I got 4 things, if that's okay. First thing is that in the department, we're going to be changing our case numbering system effective January 1st. So we might still see some cases with the old system used in 22 and years previous. But so that just so when you see a different number, it's like okay, that's what that's about. So when you see a new system, we're just going to a new case numbering system internally. But we're just going to divide that off starting January 1st. There is a training event opportunity. I've talked to the planning commissioners a couple times about it, and we've got some interest there, but also it's extended to the aldermen as well. That would be put on by the DeSoto Council. There's 4 potential dates that could be coming up, all of them in February, the month of February 8th or 9th, or the 22nd or the 23rd. It would be something that would be a time frame from about 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Lunch would be provided. And it would be down there at the building, their building down there by the Landers Center. So if you need more information about that, please contact us or Jim Flanagan with the DeSoto Council. Number 3, we're starting to see more movement, momentum, if you will, with the comprehensive plan update. The planner and I, we met with electronically with Bert Kuykendall from Orion Planning Group on Friday, and there's going to be 2 main phases coming up of the comprehensive plan update. One's going to be called Discovery Week. That will be mainly meetings with stakeholders, and we're identifying stakeholders mainly in 4 different categories: transportation, parks, economic development, which economic development will be then broken down into business owners, developers, and builders, and real estate personnel. And then the 4th division there is community and neighborhood groups, and that's scheduled for the week of February 27th. And then there's also going to be a kind of a planning week or a planning rush, if you will, which will be, that date is yet to be determined, probably going to be in April or early May. And that would be a series of events or meetings held in the community, like either through Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday. So I just encourage the public to attend those and watch the website. That's one of the changes. If you go to the website and you go to the planning department, we'd start to see some changes there as far as substance and style, and announcing the planning as far as the comprehensive plan update. So that's exciting to see that. And I can't stress enough that this is a key time. This is a generational time. We've got a significant capital outlay as far as with the planning consultant to update the plan. And it's really an opportunity for the citizens to turn out and tell us things that are on their mind, and to see a vision or capture a vision or to articulate a vision. And we'll try to, as best as we can, to try to put that into a good policy. And so we just encourage people to be aware of what's coming up. There might be some surveys as well, people to participate in public surveys if they would rather participate in that way as opposed to coming out in public. I think that's the four things. Yeah, those are the four things. So those, it's encouraging to see that momentum building. I know it seems from the outside like I don't see anything happening. Yeah, I get that. So, but if you look at the website, you'll start to see some things there. And just be aware to kind of mark the calendars for the Discovery Week in February, and then the Planning Rush Week, if you will, either in April or May, as momentum builds. It'll be exciting. To me, as a planner or whatever, it's democracy. It's grassroots democracy in action, because people can come and we can talk and we can gather what people are on the citizens' minds, and then as planners and the planning consultant, we'll try to put that into some working policy, and that'll be later on, like next year or whatever, that'll be before the board as far as to make the harder decisions, like do we want it to say this, do we want it to say that, how that gets expressed. So I just wanted to encourage people in the new year to be thinking in terms of the vision for Horn Lake. And what we've got on the website is some other comprehensive plan from other cities around the country. One of the things is that we're trying to come up with is a name, and then if there's some catchy name or concept that the citizens can come up with, I think that would be very monumental to the process. I think of one county in one jurisdiction that I know about. They named their plan from cornerstone to capstone, and they're basically trying to, with just a simple name, say that, basically from ground zero on up and everything in between, this is what the comprehensive plan is about. So we're going to be trying to sift ideas, if people want to give us ideas, and what to name the plan to kind of capture where Horn Lake wants to go for the next 10 or 20 years. That's one of the things we'll be looking for. So other than that, that's all I got. But thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barr. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Barr?
Yeah, Mayor?
Alderman Bostic.
Yes, I had a couple of things I wanted just to run across with Chad. I've spoke with you about one of them, Mayor, and I didn't know if I needed to make a motion on this or just ask if this could be done in Article 6, Section D, number 6, items A through F. This ordinance is in reference to our business sign maintenance. We've got a lot of businesses in our town that are not taking care of their signs, the lighting of their building signs or their pole signs or their ground signs, the landscape around them. And I wanted to have his planning department look over this section and see if it needs to be reworded to where our code enforcement can go out and not just be a general, you've got a maintenance problem, but have a detailed of what that maintenance problem is, to where we can get our businesses up to par to where they should be without us having to constantly continue to send code enforcement and try to figure out who owns what property for what pole sign for entrance into a development. And I needed to make sure I didn't need to make a motion on that, or I could just ask Chad to look into that.
I believe he can just ask, can he, Mr. Billy?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, that's acceptable.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chad, would you be willing to follow up on that, sir?
Yes, we'd be certainly welcome to do that. I can report that as far as the items, as far as the signs that were designed to be lit, and then right now they're like partially lit in town. Code is actively trying to persuade maintenance on that, and basically all the ones that are either like partially lit, Code has already made contact. Some of the companies are, it's a matter of, getting the right people out to fix them. Others, they've already got the materials to fix the signs, they just don't have the labor yet. So they're in various states. Obviously, sometimes it doesn't go as fast as we would like, but we're hoping that within the next couple of months, provided weather allows for it, that a lot of the signs that are like partially lit can be fully lit. But yeah, we could certainly look into bringing some more teeth and more specificity to the city's zoning ordinance under that Article 6, which deals with signs. Right now, we just have general sign maintenance, but it doesn't have any wording specific to if a sign was originally designed as a lit sign, that it needs to stay as a lit sign and maintained as a lit sign. So we can certainly look at that and see what we can come up with for more specificity in that particular portion of the code.
Thank you, sir. Alderman
Thank you,
Bostic,
Chad.
I believe you said you had two things you wish to bring up.
Yes, sir. Thank you for doing that, Chad. Also, the other issue that I wanted to bring up is years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and I didn't do my research on this, but I'm pretty sure this is what took place with the check cashing places. We stopped the opening of those check cashing places because we were saturated with them. And if I'm not mistaken, there was something in the clause, and Billy might could look this up, that if they closed down, there was not an allowance for another one to come in and reopen. I wanted to check into that with Billy, because we have two places in town that have closed up and the buildings are for lease. I want to make sure that another place doesn't come in and try to reopen those as check cashing places. And if Billy could check into that and Chad could check into that, please, I would appreciate it.
Mr. Campbell, Mr. Barr, would y'all be willing to do that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Barr, thank you, sir. Anything else, Alderman Bostic?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Be careful coming home. Mr. Robinson, did you have anything, sir?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to, if you've driven by Latimer Lakes Park, you've probably seen out at the entrance area, there is a new slab, 38 by 38 concrete slab. I appreciate Stephen and Public Works and Drew and the park staff. We've been scrambling and trying to get that in between cold weather and rain. We finally have the slab poured. You all approved a little while back for the National Fitness Court, and I've got some pictures up on the screen. This is, and Alderman Young and I were down not too long ago at the state capitol for some meetings, and we looked around for one that is on the books to be put in. Could not find that, and come to find out, it looks like we're on a track to be the very first in the state of Mississippi to have a national fitness court. If you can kind of see, this is an outdoor fitness area that has 16 areas of fitness, and within those 16 areas of fitness, you have an opportunity to do a multitude of different exercises. This is a new state-of-the-art fitness where you can do it. Basically, it uses your core body weight to do most of the exercises with the apparatus that is installed on the slab. It's a rubberized surface. and rubberized areas out in front with a fitness wall in the back that has various exercises. We are on track if weather permits. It has to be a certain degrees to be able to glue down the rubberized surface. So, we're probably looking at an installation if we get some warmer weather in February. Right now, the slab has to cure for 28 days. So we're looking at potentially February, maybe even March, depending on the weather. And then we'll have a grand opening. Mr. Stacy is still here. I would love to collaborate with your folks with the Grizzlies, have them out there, and maybe some of your older kids that could handle some of this. But we want to make this a big community event, this ribbon cutting. We also want to extend the invitation to some of our state leadership down in Jackson to come up here for this ribbon cutting. Especially if we're the first in the entire state of Mississippi to open one of these. There are hundreds of them around the country, but 0 in Mississippi, which will be a great opportunity for Horn Lake. Definitely to be first, not only in this county, but first in the state. You'll be able to walk up on this wall, and there's a QR code. You'll be able to pull up the workouts, and it'll walk you through the different workouts. But it'll be an amenity that nobody else has in this state for our citizens in Horn Lake. So we want to, as we get closer to this will be an outstanding opportunity to highlight Horn Lake. We do have, just to put this out there for those that might be listening and those that are here, we do have sponsorship opportunities also. Right now we potentially have 2 sponsorships, Blue Cross Blue Shield and United Healthcare. On this wall, you can't see it in this picture, but on the ends there's opportunities for their logos and a little bit of verbiage that they want to put on there. So if you know somebody that might be wanting to sponsor, love to see the Grizzlies sponsor and put their logo on there. That will be on this front side. On the back side of this wall, there's a whole arched area on the back side, which the back side will be facing the football field. We have to come up with a design. We've chosen not to go with just the standard design, but we want to personalize ours. So I'm soliciting the Board of Aldermen. I know Drew has his one request is that we get some maroon or burgundy, the Horn Lake colors in there. So we're going to be trying to create some designs for you all to look at. But if you have any suggestions, we have to come up with that within the next 2 weeks. Sponsorship opportunities will end in about 4 weeks. So we have to submit all that so they can design that and have it ready. All of the equipment and apparatus, we appreciate the Fire Station 3 is housing all this. It was shipped in over a month ago. Public Works came over and helped unload it. It was a little tricky, but it's being housed over at Fire Station 3 and ready when weather permitting. So exciting for Horn Lake. You can see this bottom picture down here kind of has they personalized theirs and had a forest scene with people riding a bike on it. So we could personalize that and make that specifically to Horn Lake. So didn't know if anybody had any questions on that.
Does anyone have any questions? Alderman Johnson.
I have 2 questions. First question is, why do we need sponsorship with this?
Well, it helps pay for some of the costs and recoup some of the costs that you all approved to have this done. I will tell you that to upgrade and personalize the logo is $10,000. So if Blue Cross Blue Shield and United Healthcare come through, that will cover the personalizing of the wall and cover their sponsorship. The installation, we have chosen to go with one of their 6 installation teams. National Fitness Court has designated installers that do this all over the country, and we would prefer them to do it. They give you the opportunity to install it yourself. We've chosen for them to install it, and that is an additional cost. The installation will come before you all. It is anywhere from $36,000 to $42,000, so we're hoping those sponsorships that come in will help pay for the installation also.
Okay. Have we sent out any sponsorship letters or anything to that nature?
We have to a few folks, and Mr. TJ has helped with that. We've sent that out to Amazon. I believe we've sent that out to FedEx, and I'd have to check with TJ on what other sponsorships. AJ has submitted a national request to Blue Cross Blue Shield for a larger, they've potentially committed to a smaller amount. She's submitted for a larger amount that could cover a lot of that. So if you have any other recommendations for people to send it out to, that would be great.
Anything else, Alderman?
No, sir.
Alderman Klein.
All right, refresh my memory now. We've spent about 130-something thousand out of the hotel motel to cover
Yes.
the installation, but I was also in the impression that we had matching funds or something somewhere. Was it?
They matched $30,000 in a grant we applied for through the National Fitness Court, and we received that.
Okay, so we've got 160,000 right now, and what do you think the total's gonna come to?
Well, we're still looking at 10,000 for the design upgrade, and then anywhere from 36 to 42 for the installation.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Mr. Campbell, did you have anything for the, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Jim, are you through?
Yes. Well, I've got one more item.
All right. Alderman Geis, did you have a?
No, it's not. I just wanted to say, I put at your place the sales tax came in for December, which reflects October's number. I put that out there for you. That was $602,972.29. So that is 36,400 over what we did last October. So hopefully that is a good sign for this year, and the economy stays strong. But that is the first time we had an October that we started that high.
Alderman Geis, you had something, sir.
Mr. Robinson, in the Alderman packet, you had put in some paperwork on the bond issue for the animal shelter and City Hall renovations. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yes, I had gotten with Government Consulting, and they put a few scenarios together on the bond, ranging anywhere from 4.4 million all the way to 8.8 million, depending on what we look at as far as animal shelter and what we look at for the renovation of City Hall. The architect that has looked at the designs and came out and met with me on what all we're wanting to do here, kind of came up with a firm number. It's going to be about 2.5 million, which I think they're looking at more exterior upgrades than I was looking at, so we could probably trim that down some. But it does include ceiling to floor in here, all new ceilings, all new lighting. We'll have all LED lighting. all new paint, all new flooring, upgrade on furnishings in the offices. You know, we have some offices that, well, majority of all of our offices have the floors from 20 years ago. This carpet in here is from 20 years ago. All the furnishings, unless some of the staffing has changed and gotten new office furnishings, it's still some of the old. So we're looking at not to exceed $2.5 million here. The animal shelter, if you go back to your proposal from Mike with Planner Shelters of America, his range for a lesser quality, I guess, animal shelter was 4.4 up to about 6.5 million. So when you look at those different scenarios in your packet, it has given you some different opportunities for bonds. I will tell you, we were down in Flowood this past week and met with Nick, and in your packets, those charts show like a 4.5% interest and a 4.75. He just put that in there because he knows it won't exceed that, but last week when we met, he said he was getting some bonds at 3.5%. So, but to be honest with you, the sooner something we get moving on this, the better interest rate. Who knows if the Fed's going to raise that again? So if the board wants to move forward, we can move forward and work on a resolution stating, you know, we will do a bond not to exceed, you know, whatever amount. You know, if we went to the max, you know, $8.5 million. That's not to say we would do that for the two projects. It could end up being like a $6 million if we did $2 million here and $4 million animal shelter. So,
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I usually don't like adding things in that aren't on the agenda, but as Mr. Robinson mentioned, there's no telling what the Fed is going to do on interest rates, and if it goes up, it will cost our taxpayers even more money. So I would like to make a motion to allow Mr. Robinson to proceed with that max amount with the understanding we may not need that much to try to lock in that interest rate as low as we can get it for the citizens.
Second, Mayor.
What, excuse me just a moment, what number are you proposing?
What was the maximum?
8.8.
well, yeah, his chart showed an 8.8.
At 8.8.
In other words, you're making a motion to get the wheels turning to borrow up to 8.8 million,
Yes, sir, for both.
but not to exceed that, and it might come in lower.
Yes, sir. And that would be my hope, that we can go lower than that. But we need both of those projects, and with the increase in interest rates and supplies to do both of these projects, I don't think it's going to get any cheaper anytime soon.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. We had a second by Alderman Klein. Is there any discussion? Mr. Jim, roll call, please, sir, if you would.
Alderman Klein,
Aye.
Alderman Geis,
Aye.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Dupree,
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 absent. Anything else, Mr. Robinson?
No, sir.
Mr. Campbell, did you have anything for the board?
I do not, Mr. Mayor.
Did anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Campbell? There being no items listed for executive session, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Mayor, I make the motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Alderman Dupree. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Young. Is there any discussion? Mr. Robinson, would you call the roll, please, sir?
Yes, Alderman Young,
Aye.
Alderman Dupree,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Geis,
Aye.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Motion carries motion carries 6 in favor, 1 absent. Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned. Again, from all of us, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.